On August 11th, ULFA-I declared that it would boycott India's Independence Day on August 15th, stating that this celebration meant nothing to them and that a quote unquote colonial India never gave the indigenous people of Western Southeast Asia, a notional region including parts of Assam, Manipur, Nagaland, and Arunachal, anything. This boycott call came nearly a month after waves of drones allegedly targeted mobile camps of ULFA-I in Myanmar, killing and injuring scores of their leaders and cadres on July 13th. ULFA-I leadership, jolted by the attacks, claimed that the Indian armed forces were behind the attacks. While India has categorically denied any involvement, this spate of activities has brought back widespread attention to ULFA, or United Liberation Front of Ahom or Assam, a designated terrorist group that, in its heyday, was not only running a parallel administration in Assam but also made an attempt to assassinate Assam's chief minister. So, what is ULFA? How is it different from ULFA-I? Why are they in the news now? And why do you need to know about it? Let's understand. In the late 1970s, the northeastern state of Assam was at a crossroads. Despite being rich in oil, tea, and timber, Assam remained economically backwards, politically marginalized, and culturally anxious. The central government's perceived neglect, coupled with a massive influx of migrants from Bangladesh after the 1971 war, was transforming the demographic landscape of the state. Many indigenous Assamese feared losing their jobs, land, and most importantly, identity. This frustration found voice in the Assam movement, led by the All Assam Students Union or ASU. While ASU demanded reforms through peaceful protests, a more radical solution was brewing beneath the surface. On April 7, 1979, six young Assamese men met at the Ranghar, the famed monument of the erstwhile Ahom kingdom, in Sibsagar, and formed what we today know as the United Liberation Front of Ahom or ULFA. The founding members, Paresh Baruah, Arabinda Rajkhova, Anup Chetia, Bhimakanta Borgohain, Pradeep Gogoi, and Bhadreshwar Gohain declared their aim to establish a sovereign and socialist Assam through an armed struggle. In its early years, ULFA remained underground, focusing on building its cadre base and ideology. It didn't consider itself as a separatist group in the criminal sense, but rather a revolutionary movement fighting against what it termed as the Indian state's colonial occupation. The organization's initial appeal was very strong, especially among the youth of the Brahmaputra Valley. Many saw ULFA as the guardian of Assamese pride and culture, a force that would give voice to a forgotten region. Recruitment began in earnest in 1983. By 1986, ULFA had started reaching out to foreign and domestic militant organizations. It received training and arms from the National Socialist Council of Nagaland or NSCN, the Kachin Independence Army in Myanmar, China, and later Pakistan's Harkat-ul-Jihad-e-Islami and Inter-Services Intelligence. By the late 80s, ULFA had grown into one of the most powerful insurgent outfits in both South and Southeast Asia. By the late 90s, ULFA had set up numerous camps across the borders in Bhutan and Bangladesh. It formed its military wing, the Sanyukta Mukti Fauj or SMF, in 1996, with battalions like the 28th, 709th, and 7th spearheading attacks across Assam. Paresh Baruah became its commander-in-chief, while Arabinda Rajkhova led the political wing. At its height, ULFA even had a special forces unit in Enigma Group or Enigma Force that worked as an autonomous striking group and was headed by Raju Baruah. Other senior leaders at this time included Anup Chetia, Sashadhar Chaudhary, and Mithinga Daimari. With strength estimated between 4,000 to 6,000 trained militants at its peak, ULFA launched a wave of violence, targeting security forces, political opponents, and civilians. One of its earliest attacks was the ambush of Dibrugarh SP Daulat Singh Negi in 1990. That same year, the group assassinated Surendra Paul, brother of UK-based industrialist Swaraj Paul, forcing the Indian government to launch Operation Bajrang, the first major Indian operation to flush out ULFA insurgents from Assam, which corresponded with the imposition of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act in the state.
ULFA's hit list included Russian engineers, Indian politicians, and even journalists. In 2000, they killed Assam government minister Nagin Sarma. Their most horrifying act, however, came on August 15, 2004, when a blast in Dhemaji killed 13 people, mostly school children. It was the first time ULFA publicly accepted responsibility for a civilian massacre. ULFA's attacks weren't limited to individuals, however. The group bombed oil pipelines, sabotaged railway lines, and targeted government buildings as well. Behind the scenes, ULFA had built a global support network. In Bhutan, it maintained 13 well-armed camps until Operation All Clear by the Royal Bhutan Army wiped them out in 2003. While in Bangladesh, ULFA leaders like Anup Chetia and Paresh Baruah found shelter and ran businesses, from garment factories and media consultancies to hotels and even shrimp trawlers. Intelligence reports revealed links with Pakistan's ISI, Chinese intelligence, and even Taliban and Al-Qaeda. ULFA's propaganda newsletter Freedom was reportedly edited by ISI personnel in Pakistan. But with power came paranoia. In the late 90s, ULFA began eliminating dissent within its ranks. Mass graves were later discovered in their camps. The killing of social worker Sanjoy Ghosh in 1997 and the targeting of migrant workers in the 2000s, especially those from Bihar, alienated much of their civilian support base. The final blow, however, came from within. In 1991, the group's deputy commander-in-chief, Hirak Jyoti Mahanta, who opposed surrender, was captured and killed. Soon after, the first wave of surrenders began. By the mid-2000s, thousands of cadres had laid down arms. These surrendered members, later known as SULFA or Surrender ULFA, were integrated into Assam's political and business circles, altering the balance of power in the state forever. In 2005, ULFA formed a People's Consultative Group to explore peace talks, but the process collapsed after the group resumed attacks. A turning point came finally in 2008 when a faction of the powerful 28th Battalion declared unilateral ceasefire. This pro-talks faction later crystallized into a separate wing. The split became official in 2012. Two ULFA factions emerged from the split. ULFA Pro-Talks led by Rajkhova and ULFA Independent led by Baruah. The Pro-Talks group signed a suspension of operations agreement with the Indian government in 2011. Finally, in December 2023, a historic peace accord was signed between the Indian Centre and the Assam government and the ULFA Pro-Talks faction. It included a Rs 1.5 lakh crore development package and over 8,000 cadres surrendered in addition to assurances and steps to preserve Assam's territorial and communal integrity. For instance, the pact envisages ensuring maximum representation for indigenous communities in the 126-member Assam Assembly. The 2023 delimitation is said to have made it impossible for non-indigenous communities to contest elections in 106 of these seats. But peace still eludes the state of Assam. ULFA Independent remains active, operating out of camps along the China-Myanmar border. Intelligence agencies believe Paresh Baruah, now based in Yunnan, China, continues to receive support from Chinese security agencies. Though weakened, the group has attempted recruitment drives in Upper Assam and maintains sporadic ties with other northeast insurgent outfits. From revolution to rebellion and finally rupture, ULFA's story mirrors the complexities of insurgency in India's northeast. What began as a dream for sovereignty quickly spiraled into violence, foreign entanglements, and deep scars on Assam's society. Today, the road ahead remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. ULFA may no longer command the fear it once did, but its checkered legacy is far from forgotten. Thanks for watching. For more stories like this, subscribe to The Hindu. Got feedback or suggestions? Please write to us at videos@thehindu.co.in. Thank you.